Right, James Jones. West Ham United fans are up in arms at the moment about this ticket concession or the concessions on tickets being taken away, or the general way that concessions are sold to supporters. Right, we have touched on this at the end of last season when we did our midsummer podcast. We did touch on it then, so we'll just sort of give a little bit of an update. We have already given our views on it, so I won't go into it sort of both barrels. But just talk to me then, Jonesy. Give everyone a bit of an update. What are your thoughts? You went to the Betway Cup game at the weekend. There was sort of a boycott of that, or that's what fans were trying to do, get people to boycott it. You went along. Feels like you might have got a little bit of grief from some sections of the fan base for doing that, when actually you just took your little boy to his first game. Just give us a sort of update for anyone overseas, particularly listening, who might be like, what the hell's going on here? How does the ground lay at the moment? What's the situation that the fans, or that some fans are annoyed about? Go on.
Well, I think the long and short of it is that the club have completely backtracked on what they said when they were trying to convince everyone that moving to London Stadium was far better for them than staying at Upton Park, by saying it would be far more affordable for families. And they stuck to that promise for a few years, and then sort of gradually we've seen prices climbing up a little bit. And then now they've just decided that there will be no concession prices whatsoever unless you're up for sitting up right up in the gods.
Right, so let's just, I know what your views on it are, right? That's all I'm saying is, like, that there are concession tickets being offered. So if you've currently got a concession ticket wherever you are in the stadium, if you renew
season ticket,
season ticket, if you renew, then you're still like your concession, at least for this season. That may change next summer.
Well, the renewal deadline's gone, isn't it? So if you've renewed, you've paid for this season with a concession. But
what my point is, that if you've got a season ticket already as a concession, wherever you are on the ground, if you've renewed, you're allowed to stay there, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah, that's fine.
But for new season ticket holders,
well, that won't be the case if you renew next year.
Yeah.
So if you're
this summer, isn't it?
If you're at an age where, but it comes around to renewing for next season, so not the season coming, but the season after, and you're going to go from one age bracket to the next, which whether that's under 18s or under 21s to adult, or adult into sort of OAP, then you will pay a flat rate. It's, if you go into OAP, expect to still be paying the same amount of money as you are now, essentially. If you're buying one-off match tickets, then expect to pay the same as everyone else. If you want to take your two kids along with you, you technically got to buy 3 adult tickets.
Unless you're in bands 5 and 6.
Unless you're in bands 5 and 6, which, if you want to go and set up in bands 5 and 6, is absolutely fine. Won't be a very engaging experience for 6, 7 or 8 year old kid. Like the fact is that they shouldn't be forcing parents to pay maximum price to take their kids, or older fans who have been around and been there, seen it, done it. Loyal fans having to pay max price when they get into get to that age. It's not affordable anymore for West Ham fans. It's a disgusting decision from the club. And I was thinking earlier when I was looking at the Chelsea prices, I think to take, I think it's band 4, band 5. If I wanted to take Harrison onto that, if I wasn't a season ticket holder already, it cost me 110, 115 quid to take Harrison along for me and him. 2 adult tickets, even though he's not an adult, he's 4 years old. It's not good enough, really, in this day and age, especially given that they've promised fans that it will be affordable moving there. And what they should have done, if they're that bothered about saving a few quid per game by just scrapping all the cheap stuff, make every ticket the same price, but then just bring the price down a little bit, so it still seems affordable, So just like blanket cheaper tickets, but everyone pays the same for that. I think that would be, if they're that, that focused on doing it, then, at least still try and make it affordable for everyone, as opposed to just pricing out. Because what they're doing, they're pricing out the older fan base. They're also pricing out the future of the fan base, the future supporters of this football club. Because there's so many parents out there that will not be able to afford to take their kids now, because it's just completely priced out. They can't afford to, a family of 4 for some games this season, it's going to cost like 400 quid, 350, 400 quid. It's just not feasible. But yeah, I got a lot of stick for taking Harrison at the weekend, which I didn't take too kindly to be fair.
No, yeah, but that is ridiculous, mate. I'm not being funny. Anyone who's giving you grief for taking your kid to a pre-season friendly for his first game of the season, like, yeah, anyone who's giving you grief for that needs to have a look at
on the flip side, I did get the support and the good, the nice comments far outweighed the negative ones. But there's one in particular that one guy in particular, I'm not going to name and shame. He actually is on a rival podcast, not a rival podcast, but another West Ham podcast. Was called me out twice in 3 days, before the game and then the day after the game.
A grown man, I assume.
Oh yeah, definitely a grown man, older than me. And yeah, it got my back up a little bit, because it's like, mate, I even explained on the Friday, the day before, why I was looking forward to taking it. And it's sentimental and emotional value behind that. It's not just Harrison's first game. There's a lot more behind it. And he was like, "You're not protesting then? No, not boycotting then?" And I was like, "Well, no, I've just said that I'm not. I'm going to this. I'm going, and I'm actually looking forward to it." And he basically alluded to, well, he suggested that I didn't know, or I didn't understand the reasons why, and X, Y, Z. He said a few really silly things. And then the silliest thing he said was when I said, "Well, I have signed a petition." He said, well, petitions don't mean anything. So, well, why on earth have you got one then? Why are you asking people to sign a petition if it doesn't count? So, yeah, I don't know. I completely understand why fans are boycotting, and I do support the reasons behind the boycott. But the Betway Cup was affordable. It cost me 70 quid for 4 tickets. Which is the price of one band 2 for Chelsea. So like, it was like, and in the day,
and how old's Harrison?
He's 4. 5, and I thought, well, if it does get 5 minutes in and he wants to leave, then I don't really care. Like it's a friendly.
You so do that for a Prem game, are you?
Exactly. So it is what it is. And my stance is that it's like these concession things. It's not even taking him again. I will pay the full price if I have to, but I understand that there are a lot of fans out there that will not be able to do that.
Well, that's the thing.
That's the problem.
Just to address a couple of the things, because I'd just like to point out, I am with James. I just think I can I could sort of understand if I had to play devil's advocate, right? I can sort of understand a change if you're going to do one, right? If you feel that you have to do one. I'm not saying that they do, but if you feel you have to, the OAP ones, I understand more. What I find really annoying is, because I would say that what I find most grating is that it targets young families and young children, and you're sort of it's sort of eating away at that next generation of West Ham fans. And I saw something today, the suggestion being basically that, well, it's better for football clubs just financially to have like one-time visitors in the seats, because people like that are also likely, as well as being, if they're only in London for a week or whatever, or a weekend, they don't mind paying 120 quid to see a Premier League game. And what they're also likely to do is nip in the shop on the way there or on the way out and pick up a shirt or a scarf or whatever, and don't mind, and sort of make it a one-off experience. That, I think, is probably what's happened more so at Arsenal, Tottenham. You'll see it a lot more, and that's why clubs are so desperate to build such vast amounts of hospitality. That's why a massive amount of Tottenham's new ground is hospitality. But But that's what I find really hard is the going after kids, because, like you say, yeah, I would say generally younger parents or parents are younger people, so it's fair to say they're probably going to have a little bit less money on the whole. Not saying that's every case, but generally it's going to cost a lot more if you go after the IAPs, right? Typically they'll be paying for themselves, you would imagine. So not that I think it's good, but if you do, you kind of go, all right, fine, I can maybe see that the older people could probably afford more than hitting like James. He's only got one kid, but if you're going after a mum or a dad who've got 2 or 3 kids that they take to West Ham, and then like multiplying that increase by 2 or 3, and then that's 2 or 3 kids who might not go to West Ham as much and therefore might not be as in love with it, or might go and watch Leyton Orient or Southend or Barnet or whoever instead, and then they're not bought into it anymore, and that's what I find the most galling. It feels like just sort of selling out the future to cash in now. This feels like the sort of thing where you probably won't notice a great deal of difference next season or the season after, but it's in 10 years when things are going a little bit wafty and perhaps a club are struggling again and you need to rely on that support. If you sort of eroded the foundation of that, then it's not ideal. Just one thing I will read from the website, right, James? Just because we do like to be balanced on this podcast. This is from the West Ham website, right? So all I'm doing is reading this out. This is from early July, right, or mid-July. After some conversations with fan groups, etc., all existing season ticket holders who renewed their seat for next season or this season coming in bands 1 to 6 have retained any qualifying concessionary discount. This includes all juniors to under 21 and over 66 ticket holders. The club have honoured the concessionary discount in bands 1 to 6 for any existing adult season ticket holders who turned 66 during last season. And all existing ticket holders under the age of 21 in bands 1 to 6 who continuously renew will receive the concessionary discount, provided they do not lapse until they're eligible to pay the full adult price, right? Our concessionary discounts have been designed to ensure our longest standing season ticket holders are rewarded for their loyalty and commitment. Our young supporters, the future of the club and their families, are always provided with an affordable match day experience. Now, the problem here, James, isn't it, is that, and they've also said as well, that we understand the need for over 66 supporters to have access to concession seats within the lower stadium bowl. That's in response to your blocks 5 and 6, which are right at the top. I had a ticket there for a season. It's a different experience, not the end of the world, but it's row 66 I think I was in. That's a lot of stairs, trust me, and I'm in my early 30s. Like, it was a flipping slog to get up there. What the club say is that concessions are available for over 66 supporters in bands 3 and 4, which do include lower tier areas of the ground, right? These tickets can be purchased with a 25% concessionary discount, making them some of the cheapest lower bowl tickets across the Premier League. Now, that's a bit that's like a 25. That's a thing a lot of people are saying about as well, that the 25% concessionary historically has been. Now, I haven't bought a concession ticket for a while, so it's hard to say that or not. But whatever way you dress this up, right? It's going after young and old fans, isn't it? So it's going after loyal fans who've probably supported West Ham for a lifetime. On the whole, I know not everyone, but on the whole they will be. And it's going after the younger fans who are the future of the club. That's what it is, regardless of how you dress it up, and as much balance as you give it, which we are always keen to do. That it's hard not to feel like that, even as someone fairly reasonable as we both are and willing to see both sides of an argument. It's sort of hard to see it as anything other than that, isn't it?
100%, yeah. And I think the club has to revisit its stance on it. They have to find a way of. They basically have to get a happy medium. I think there has to be concessionary discounts for kids and over 66 at some point. Like, offering that as a discount, that only applies to the season tickets. That doesn't apply to match day tickets, mate.
No, sorry, I'm just talking about. But yeah, all right.
So,
yeah,
if you're over 66 and you want to go to the next home game, you've got to climb those 66 stairs up to the back, or whatever it is. So, they haven't really stuck to their word. They're even there in that statement, and they have to sit down with the fan groups, whoever they are, and come to some sort of agreement where everyone's happy, because it's taking it away from the future of the fan base, and the loyal fan base has been there for decades. And it's also what I experienced as well over the weekend on social media. It's causing a rift between fans as well, who some agree, some don't. I called out one account. I think it may have been a fan group. I don't know which one. Who passive aggressively thanked
Hammers United. Yeah, Hammers United. It was
passive aggressively thanked the loyal fans who boycotted the game, and it was very passive aggressive. So I said, well, hang on. I went, and I've had a season ticket for 30 years. Just because I went to one pre-season friendly does not make me loyal.
No.
It's just a reminder that people that went to the game are also loyal fans, but they had their reasons for going. People that didn't go are loyal fans, reasons for not going. We cannot allow something like this to cause a rift in the fan base, especially only a few months after everyone was at each other's throats about David Moyes. Yeah. This is a situation where the fans have to come together and support each other for one common goal, and that's to get the club to rethink this pricing strategy.
Yeah.
What the strategy is, I don't know. I don't know what the economic knock-on effects would be if the club were to backtrack completely, or whether they were to try and find a middle ground, or the reasons why they've done it in the first place. I don't know, but I haven't seen the P&L. But they have to rethink
What's
their
the P&L?
Profit and loss sheet.
Right. Okay. I mean, you could have just said that.
Well, no, it's just like P&L. So a lot of listeners would have understood what I said there.
Yeah, I bet loads of wouldn't. Yeah, go on.
I don't know. I think we all have to agree that yes, it's not good what the club is doing. It's a disgrace. But also they need to sit down and have a think about it and talk to fans. I understand fans' frustrations. Keep getting told we're a family club and affordable football, and this is going to be the future. We move to the stadium, and very, very quickly it doesn't feel like the fans are really considered in any decision the club is making. Even though we keep being told that there's dialogue between fan groups and the club. Well, clearly not, because I can't imagine many fan groups would have been too happy when that was run past them. And we're seeing that now. They're boycotting games. So I don't know. Something's got to be done. What happens, I don't know.
No. Just quickly, Jonesy. Sorry, while we're on that topic, then you mentioned the Chelsea game there. What's the situation with that?
Well, the club announced the ticket prices. I was just trying to find it now, but earlier on it was all over my timeline, and sod's law now. Go on Twitter now, and I can't find it. But it was, it's. Let me just see if I can. Bear with me, caller.
It was a lot of money, wasn't it? While you're searching for that, tell us a little bit about the Betway Cup game.
The Betway Cup game was actually a lot of fun. First of all, Harrison absolutely loved it. It was really nice, really emotional. I bawled my eyes out singing Bubbles at the beginning. Yeah. Because everyone knows I'm a crier. But it was good. It was good to see. I mean, and it was great. Bowen scored after 20 minutes, and Harrison spent the first 10 minutes going, "Come on, Bowen!" This is his favourite player. Poor bloke in front of us is having his head poked by the little foam finger that I bought him in a shop. Harrison's poking the back of the head. It was good. It was a really. We left at full time, so we didn't hang around for the penalty shootout because Harrison was knackered and we had to get him home. But a good day out had by all, and the atmosphere was okay. Just weird sitting down.
Anyone good? Anyone play well? Just quickly, by the way, as I'm looking for this on Twitter, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, this is from Fabrizio Romano. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has signed his new West Ham contract just now with Tim Steigton, deal sealed.
Lovely.
There we go. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Go on then. Chelsea pricing.
So actually, I'm looking at it now. It's flat pricing across the board. So if you wanted to go band 6, if you're an adult, you pay 55 quid. If you're disabled, you pay 55 quid. Band 6, that is. Band 5, 65 quid across the board. Band 4, 85 quid, which is the same as band 3.
Yeah.
It's as if like I just make these prices up half the time. Band 2 is 90. Band 1, 100 quid. If you're in the 1966, that's 110.
Yeah.
1966 West, 120. So for your cheapest ticket for a family of 4, you're looking at well over 200 quid.
Yeah,
just for the privilege of being
quid
there, and then even then you're up with the gods, and you've got to make sure you got your contacts in.
And what a point a lot of people have made is that the availability of those band 5 and 6 seats is limited as it is anyway, but it's going to be even more so. They're not huge areas in the ground. I think they're, I don't know, but I would say they're the back 4 to 5 rows all the way around the stadium. I think in the corners of the band 6 ones.
Yeah.
And then it's the back 4 or 5 rows of the upper tier everywhere else, I think. And people are saying, well, they're going to get snapped up well quickly because, are you going to make
quid? 55 quid for the cheapest ticket in the house, and it's arguably one of the worst seats.
Yeah, for if you've got 2 4-year-olds, you paid, or if you've got 2 7-year-olds, paid 110 quid to be right with gods. Yeah, it isn't good. It isn't good. But Jacob Steinberg, from the Guardian, West Ham correspondent, guest on this podcast at the end of last season, is pretty strong on it. More outrageous pricing from West Ham. The obstacles this place is in front of taking your children is huge. He's spot on there. But look, this one rumbles on and on. James, you spoke about the Betway Cup. I think that's enough for now.